First thing that you guys need to do is click on File, Set Project, set your project to your Still Life project folder, and simply click Open. Again, this is going to make sure that all of our images from our image plane appear on the image planes. And I'll click Open. So we'll open up one of our favorite characters, the Luxo lamp, and we're going to dissect this thing. This particular part of the lamp, I would create one linear. You can use the 3 cubic to create this particular section, or you could simply use a polygon cylinder and extrude to create this part. I'm going to use tools that I taught you guys, things that are familiar to you. So I'll click on Create Curve Tools, EP Curve Tool option box, and we'll make this one linear. I'll close that, and I will simply click right here, hold Shift, and here we go, press return. Now let's go back to Create Curve Tool, EP Curve Tool option box, and change this to 3 cubic. Now I'm going to snap this curve to this object. So let me turn off the lamp, and I'll hold C, left mouse click and hold on that shape. Perfect. So we have our control vertex point right there. I'll turn on the lamp one more time, and I'll click here, right here. Let me move it up. Click one right in the center. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 control points. And now I'm going to add another one, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'll bring it this way. I'll hold Shift to create a straight line, and I'll keep on bringing this guy over. Now the next thing I need to do is let go of Shift so I can get this round edge. So I'm not trying to add a lot of control vertex points. I'm trying to create as few points as possible. Click here, and now I'll slowly create that shape, and when I'm finished, I'll press return. Alright, so now I need to connect this curve to that curve. So I'll hide the image plane, and I'm happy with that shape. If I click here, hold Shift, select that one, I'll go to Curves, Attach, Option Box, and I'll make sure my setting says Connect, Keep, and I'll click Apply, and I'll close this, and there we go. Now if I were to move this shape, you're going to see that there's some really weird history on there, so I'll press Z to undo, and I will click Edit, Delete by Type History, and now this is what I have. Okay. Alright, now let's go to Surfaces, Revolve Option Box, and let me reset the settings. So in this case I want it to revolve on the y-axis. I want it to be a polygon, quad, general. I'll change the per span number of isoforms for the U-type and the V-type, and we'll change the number U and the number V to a value of 2. I'll click Revolve, and we'll click on Mesh Display Reverse. Alright, now if I turn the lamp background image back on, this is what we have. Perfect. Alright, now last but not least, we need to recreate this shape. A few shapes. So I'll go to the Mesh Tools, and I'll go to Create Polygon. Alright, so if I press 4, I can see the original shape behind here, and I'm going to start creating this shape counterclockwise, not clockwise. Alright, so I'll click on that point, click here. So I'm pretty much outlining this shape. 1, 2. Click on that edge here, and this edge. And I'll press return key. I'll press 5 so we could see that shape. And I'm going to go into my perspective. I'll click modify center pivot, and I'll move this shape to the left. Okay. And what I need to do now is use this tool called the multi-cut. So mesh tools, multi-cut. I'm going to click on that vertex, left mouse click, drag right here, press the return key, click on that vertex, click here, press return key, click on that vertex one more time, click on this edge, press the return key, and last but not least, click here, and then right there, press the return key. Okay. Alright, now we have this shape, and it's a quad. I'll right mouse click, go to object mode, click on this object. We'll press Control E. I'll press W. I'll move it to the left. Right mouse click, click on that object, and there we go. I'll go to the next shape, and I'm actually going to put this, I'm going to click on Modify Freeze Transformation and then move this to the right. Okay, just so that it's no longer in my way. I'll click on this object here, Modify Center Pivot, and I'll rename this to Base. Let's just call it Base 1. And modify Freeze Transformations. And when I do the freeze transformations, if I move it all the way to the left, and then if I click on the translate X, Y, and change it to 0, it'll move it right there. Okay. So let's just move it down. And I'll use a Polygon cube for this particular one. So actually, let's go to Mesh Tools, Create Polygon, and I'll click here, here, click right here, and then press the return key. Go into my perspective, press Control E, W, and I'll move this to the left. Right mouse click and hold object mode. I'll go to Modify Center Pivot. I'll go back to my front view, and we'll move this guy to the left. And you know, I'm actually going to duplicate this particular object. So Control D, and I'll move this guy right here. And then we can go to Control Vertex mode. What I'm trying to do is just align that shape. Okay, it's like that vertex here, and there we go. Now we want to right mouse click and hold, go to object mode. I'll go into my perspective, and I know there's a little bit of a bend right here on this shape. So what we can do is use our Insert Edge Loop tool, so Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop tool, and I'm going to press 4 and click on that edge, and then click one more time. So now when I press 5, you can see that we have 2 edge loops. I'll press W, I'll right mouse click and hold, select face, I'll highlight all those faces here, press spacebar, go back into my front view, or my perspective view, and then move these guys to the left, like that. Alright, perfect. Now, object mode, and I'm going to click modify, freeze transformation, and move this object to the left. Okay, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more objects to create for the base, and go into mesh tools, create polygon, and I'm going to go counterclockwise. So I'll click that vertex or that edge, hold shift, click here, and just trace this shape. And I'll put one right about there. And I want to press 4 so I could see the image. And I'm just tracing that shape. Press the return key. I'll press 5. And we need to turn this into a quad. So I'll click on Mesh Tools, Multi-Cut. I'll click on that vertex point and drag it on along that edge. Press return. Click on that vertex point and then click here. Press return. So now we have a quad. Right mouse click object mode. And let's go back into our perspective. Control E. Press W and I'll move it to the left. Right mouse click and hold object mode. I'll go to modify center pivot. And I'll move this to the right. And let's see here. I'll duplicate this guy, move it up. Press E. I'll rotate it. Press R to scale it down. W. And I'm just going to go vertex mode and move these guys to try to align it. So I don't necessarily have to create a different shape because this looks exactly like it. Oops. Vertex mode. Align these guys with this. And almost finished. Click there. And voila. Let's move this up a little bit. Okay. I'm happy with that shape. Right mouse click, object mode. And I'll go to modify, freeze transformations. Move this to the right. And we just need that section here. So I'll take what we already have. Control D. Move this up. Press E to rotate it. Press W. Now I'll right mouse click, go to vertex mode. And I'm going to move this up here. Click on that guy. Move it here. Take these two. And do that. Perfect. Right mouse click, object mode. Control D. And I'll move this guy right about here. And I'll change some of the vertex points so it aligns. And right mouse click, object mode. So there we go. We'll piece this together in the next tutorial, and I'll teach you guys how to create the neck and the little bolts as well as the springs. Okay, so this is part 1 of a 2-part tutorial, and we'll piece it together in the next one.